7 rare manipulation tactics that outsmart your enemies before they even make a move. That's the promise and the mindset here. This isn't about loud speeches or empty bravado shouted to a crowd hungry for drama. It's about the quiet strategy working beneath the surface while everyone else is still warming up. Machiavelli would smirk at how predictable today's power plays have become. Outrage as currency, speed as pressure, flattery as a leash. He taught princes to observe people in motion, to test the room before the room tests you, to strike first, not with flash, but with calculated structure. You're not here to win debates. You're here to make debates irrelevant. The goal is to think 2 moves ahead and remove the very board they expected you to play on. Do this, and your enemies stop seeing you as a target and start seeing you as terrain, something they must navigate around, not confront head-on. Understand the rules behind these moves. People lie with their words, but they tell the truth through their reactions. Every handshake, compliment, favor, and apology, each is a move in a deeper game. Most miss this because they believe honesty lives in words. Machiavelli knew better. He understood that true intent reveals itself not when people speak freely, but when they're being watched without realizing it. No matter how careful the mask, instinct leaks. It slips out in timing, in how someone handles advantage, in how they respond to your silence, in how they react to your pace. This is not about cruelty, it's about clarity. You do not crush your enemies with noise. You starve their tactics with design. 7 tactics. Learn them like a craft, not a script. Tactic 1. Preemptive framing. Most conflicts are lost before the first line is spoken because the frame is already set by the loudest or the earliest. Do not let that happen. You define the terrain with a calm summary that places boundaries, terms, and success criteria before anyone else pretends to be reasonable. In writing, 1 paragraph, scope, constraints, timeline, and the metric that decides win or lose. You say it first, you say it clean, and then you point back to it every time noise appears. People hate being measured. They love being dramatic. Your frame replaces drama with geometry. A person who wanted a stage suddenly finds themselves inside a checklist. They will either adapt to the clarity or expose that they were never here to build. Practical use before the meeting. Send a brief with sections labeled in, out, and done means. During the meeting, repeat the metric twice and cut side quests by returning to the metric. After the meeting, send a 1-paragraph recap that ties names to deliverables and dates to decisions. This kills fog and kills gossip because gossip cannot survive where scope is sharp. Machiavelli would call this governing the optics. I call it refusing to wrestle in mud. The preemptive frame is subtle dominance. You are not louder. You are earlier with structure. Watch what it does to opportunists. They will try to blur, to reopen, to rename. They will accuse your clarity of being controlling because a clear plan leaves them no side door to slip credit through. Do not argue. Point to the line that defines done. Silence follows then compliance or self-exile. Either is a win. Tactic 2. Signal obfuscation. Manipulators need data. They fish for tells. Neediness, hunger for approval, urgency, the hope that the next message will soothe a private fear. Starve them. Lower your emotional broadcast until your signal reads like stone. You still care deeply. You just refuse to advertise your pulse to people who sell buttons for a living. Learn to give answers that are complete yet unprovocable. Yes. Number not now. Send details. I will review tomorrow. Remove the sugar that invites debate and the smoke that signals panic. Your tone is warm but unhookable. You do not telegraph excitement, outrage, or exhaustion in professional channels. You do not perform access with late-night paragraphs. You replace sorry for the delay, crazy week with received reviewing Friday. You replace I feel like with according to the metric, we are off by 12%. Once your signal quiets, opportunists lose their weather report. They cannot time their storms when your sky shows no readable clouds. Signal obfuscation is not coldness, it's governance. You are protecting your interior from being used as leverage. When someone tries to escalate with heat, you de-escalate with precision. Please put the request in writing with scope and deadline. Watch what happens. The honest will write. The dishonest will vanish or switch topics. Either way, you saved hours and revealed character without a fight. Tactic 3. The decoy need. People can be led by what they believe you want. If they think your ambition is applause, they will sell you stages. If they think your weakness is urgency, they will sell you clocks. Present a harmless appetite that directs merchants to sell you the wrong bait while you move toward the real objective. In negotiation, act like scheduling convenience is your obsession. Let them feel generous with times while you win price. In status games, appear to want the seat when you want the say. In politics, let them fight for titles while you control agenda. The decoy need is ethical when it protects the mission from noise. It is not lying about outcomes, it is misdirecting the circus away from the vault. Machiavelli called this appearing to have certain virtues because people judge with their eyes. Here you appear to have certain cravings because people trade with their guesses. Raise a flag over harmless ground so your real ground stays quiet. Run a test today. Pick one arena where people keep trying to bait your real preferences. Invent a decoy that costs you nothing. Signal it publicly and watch the offers reorganize. Vendors will sprint to fulfill the costume need. Predators will sell you leashes that no longer fit. Meanwhile, your work proceeds behind a closed curtain. You did not out or argue anyone. You out-angled everyone. Tactic 4. Asymmetric generosity. Give first, but give in a shape that turns bad actors visible. Offer a clear, contained favor that upgrades the system, not the parasite. A checklist that reduces review time. A template that enforces clarity. A dashboard that makes progress visible. Then watch. A builder will use your gift to build. A taker will use it to ask for more. By curating useful, non-personal favors, you force clarity without a duel. If the recipient escalates demands, you channel them back to process. As agreed, requests go through the form. Here are the limits. Here is the timeline. You shut the lever they hope to install access to your guilt, and you replace it with a standardized gate. This is kindness weaponized for order. The generous prince earns loyalty. The sloppy prince earns dependency. Choose the first. Asymmetric generosity also seeds culture. You reward measurable behaviors, not volume. You thank by name. You specify the trait to copy, and you attach it to outcome. Over time, this starves attention-drunk performers and feeds quiet excellence. Enemies who run on stolen spotlight cannot metabolize in this ecosystem. They either learn to produce or leave to find a stage that sells applause cheaper. Tactic 5. Spotlight steering. Praise is a lever. Aim it in public. Highlight precise, verifiable wins of allies and even competitors who embody the standards you want. Clarity, punctuality, ownership. Then observe reactions. The honest become brighter, but not louder. The insecure become theatrical or bitter. This is reconnaissance disguised as kindness. It also resets incentives. Attention lands on execution rather than drama. When you distribute credit cleanly, thieves lose their oxygen. They cannot harvest vagueness when light is angled with purpose. Machiavelli would tell you that reputations are currencies. You are deciding what your market pays for. Spotlight steering exposes loyalty maps. The one who claps for another's win will likely guard the bridge in winter. The one who sulks will likely tax it in summer. Note it. Adjust your trust. Move resources toward the hands that turn light into output. Enemies back off when the room stops feeding their hunger for unearned brightness. Tactic 6. Tempo dictatorship. Control the clock and you cut the strings. Manufactured urgency is the favorite weapon of manipulators. It makes you promise sloppy timelines and accept vague scopes. You will break that weapon by defaulting to your cadence. Decide when you reply, when you meet, when you ship, and communicate those beats in writing. If someone demands speed, separate genuine emergencies from theater by asking for specifics and trade-offs. What drops if we do this now? Silence will eat many fake fires. For real fires, you respond with a focused slice and a clear reschedule. Your reliability becomes a moat. People grant you room to move at your tempo when your delivery keeps proving that your tempo works. Tempo dictatorship is not laziness. It is respect for craftsmanship. Rushing ruins reputations faster than critics do. A calm man with a calendar is dangerous because he cannot be stampeded into bad decisions. You teach the room that speed is a negotiation, not a default, and that your yes is expensive because it is tied to results. Tactic 7. Silent exit architecture. The cleanest win is the enemy who finds no handle. You design exits before you need them. Clear deliverables, written agreements, handover checklists, refund windows, and communication channels that can be narrowed to one lane. When the game turns crooked, you do not debate personality. You execute the exit plan like a surgeon. Short sentences, dates, steps, signatures. Then you go quiet. Gossip dies in deserts. Machiavelli noted that injuries must be inflicted at once. Kindness should be given in doses. Your exit follows the same rhythm. One clean act, then stillness. No victory lap, no speeches, production resumes elsewhere. Those are the 7. But tactics without temperament are props. Your inner posture must make these moves feel natural. Here are ground rules that harden your stance so pressure cannot buy you. Reduce commentary, increase consequence. People learn more from the boundaries you enforce than the speeches you compose. Decide once on recurring issues and write the policy. Point to the rule, not your mood. Choose wars worth ammo. A sly insult wants your attention. A structural threat deserves it. Separate kindness from compliance. You can be warm with a closed door. Practice solitude until your mind is not for sale to the next ping. Script 1 line for money, 1 for time, 1 for respect. Guard your name with process, receipts, summaries, clean closures. Carry an exit plan for every room. Knowing how to leave makes you calm enough to stay. Field drills make this real. Tonight, write the preemptive frame for tomorrow's hardest conversation. In the morning, send it. During the meeting, keep your signal low. No fillers, no nervous jokes, no late confessions. Deploy a decoy need that costs you nothing and watch offers reroute. Share one asymmetric gift, a template, checklist, or script, and note who uses it and who demands more. Publicly steer the spotlight to a specific behavior you want repeated. Dictate tempo by stating the earliest quality delivery you can make and the slice you can ship today. If necessary, trigger the silent exit with paperwork, not paragraphs. Do this sequence once and you will feel the room shift. Do it for a month and your calendar will go quiet in the right places. Common traps require specific antidotes. Trap. The vague criticism in a crowd. Antidote. Shrink the arena. Which deliverable then silence. Trap. The sudden emergency text. Antidote. Move to writing. Text. Essentials. Most vanish. Trap. Flattery wrapped around a request. Antidote. Separate the sugar from the ask. Appreciate it. Send scope. Trap. Forced intimacy early. Antidote. Steady warmth. Closed disclosures. Trap. Threat by timeline. Antidote. Calendar with trade-offs. Trap. Baited debate. Antidote. Restate the metric and refuse the theater. Trap. Guilt. Leverage. Antidote. Policy and process. You are not cruel. You are consistent. And consistency looks like cruelty to people who profit from chaos. The ethics. Yes, these are manipulation tactics, but not all manipulation is malice. If you are building, you must shape attention, incentives, and rhythm, or someone else will. The question is whether your method leaves the world more ordered or more depleted. Use the decoy need to shield focus, not to trap innocence. Use asymmetric generosity to make competence cheap and exploitation obvious, not to create dependence. Use spotlight steering to grow standards, not to harvest worship. Use tempo to protect quality, not to dodge responsibility. Use exits to prevent drama, not to punish. Machiavelli wrote in A City of Daggers. You're operating in a world of calendars, inboxes, and cameras. Precision is mercy now. Clarity is kindness. Quiet is armor. What will enemies feel in the presence of a steady frame? Boredom and uncertainty. Boredom because you will not furnish drama. Uncertainty because they cannot find your buttons. They will test you a few times. They will realize there is no lever to pull. Then they will go talent scouting for a more reactive life to feed on. You did not defeat them. You starved the game they came to play. That is the deeper meaning of outsmarting before they move. You deny the profit motive that funds their motion. Return to the order. Frame, signal, decoy, generosity, spotlight, tempo, exit. Each buys the next. Enter with a frame so your silence has context. Lower your signal so bait cannot bind you. Raise a decoy so merchants waste their pitches. Give something structural so character reveals itself without blood. Aim the spotlight so culture bends toward competence. Dictate tempo so quality stays sovereign. Carry exit so games end when they should. This is a method, not a mood. Run it whether you feel brave or tired. Discipline is the cheat code that emotion cannot reverse. You will falter. You will over-explain at midnight and wake in a trap. You will answer bait with a paragraph and feed a parasite. Audit. Do not spiral. Once a week, count. How many frames did you set early? How many signals did you lower? Which decoy need worked? What gift was abused? Who glowed under the spotlight? And who grimaced? Where did you keep tempo? And where did you sprint for no reason? Which exit is overdue? Measurement turns mystique into method. Mystique without method is theater. Method without mystique is bureaucracy. We aim for the third path. Quiet inevitability scripts to pocket framing to keep this clean. Here's scope constraints and the metric for done. Signal not available now. Send details. I'll review tomorrow. Decoy scheduling is my priority. Propose 2 windows. Generosity. Sharing a template that trims review time by 40%. Use it. Feedback. Welcome. Spotlight. Credit to Sana for shipping 2 days early with 0 defects. That's the standard tempo. Earliest quality delivery is Monday 10 hour. I can ship a smaller slice today. Exit per agreement. Here are the deliverables, dates, and handover links. This concludes my role. Keep them in your notes app. Use them until they become reflex case studies. A manager throws a vague jab in public. Some teams aren't pulling weight. You do not defend your biography. You ask, which deliverable? And let silence do the math. The room tilts from gossip to scope. A client writes, urgent, need this tonight. You reply, I can deliver the analysis slice tonight and the final by Friday 10 a.m. Confirm priority. Half of such fires die when asked to pick which house burns. A collaborator pushes to present alone. You praise their piece specifically and add, I'll present the sequence and measures. If their glow includes you, you have a partner. If not, you have a note. In family conflict, someone drags you into a museum of old grievances. You refuse the tour. Not revisiting history. Solving Thursday logistics. You are not avoiding feelings. You are avoiding arenas that never end. Advanced layers. Stack the decoy need with tempo. Announce that your priority is clean handoffs. People suddenly compete on documentation instead of drama. Stack spotlight with generosity. Credit arrivals discipline and release a checklist that makes discipline easy. Everyone who wanted clout without work will either adapt or expose themselves. Stack frame with exit. Open a project with a closure protocol on slide 1. Predators will test less when they see where the game ends. Why Machiavelli again? Because he separates appearance from effect. Most modern advice worships appearance, confidence poses, charisma tricks, poster quotes. Machiavelli judges by effect. Did your city stay stable? Did your allies stay loyal? Did your enemies choose other fields? Here, effect means fewer reactive hours, tighter outcomes, cleaner names. These tactics do not make you a tyrant. They make you a builder who wastes less oxygen on theater and more on work. Now the threshold, stop auditioning. The moment you no longer need the room to validate you, the room loses the main weapon it had. Need is a neon sign that says, press here. Replace the need with a mission. Replace the audition with a standard. Replace the apology with a deliverable. Then apply the 7 in order until your days get quiet. Quiet is not the absence of ambition. It is the absence of sabotage. It is the atmosphere where deep work compounds and reputations harden into signal. People still lie with their mouths, but their reactions remain fluent. Watch how they flinch when tempo is taken from them. Watch how they leer when the spotlight moves. Watch how they grow verbose when silence lands. Watch how they reach when generosity tempts. Watch how they fidget when the frame forbids improvisation. Record, adjust, continue. You are not required to defeat anyone. You are required to remove the stage that makes their tricks work. That is how you outsmart enemies before they move. You build a room where their movement has no profit. When noise returns, and it will read this once, then do the simplest thing. Set the frame, dim the signal, deploy the decoy, gift the structure, aim the light, dictate the tempo, architect the exit, back to work. Machiavelli would approve. The prince who governs himself governs the field. The rest is commentary, and commentary is cheap. Results are the only language that gossip respects. Micro moves for preemptive framing. Enter with a question that nails the metric. What will make this a win in numbers, not narratives? When someone generalizes, ask for an example that can be scheduled. Translate feelings into fields. Owner, deadline, definition of done. If the room resists structure, volunteer the first draft and invite edits. Critics become collaborators when you hand them a pen. Micro moves for signal obfuscation. Replace exclamation marks with periods. Replace speed typing with pauses. Replace apology openers with factual openers. Default to channels that archive. Write like you expect your words to be forwarded to your future self. Smile in person. Be stone in text. Your warmth belongs to the people you trust, not to every inbox that knows your address. Micro moves for the decoy need. Choose decoys that are universally understandable. Calendar slots, seating, order in the agenda. Let others sprint to please the decoy while you protect the lever that moves the mission. Never pick a decoy that risks the core. Keep the decoy visible and the objective invisible. If called out, you can always claim courtesy. Courtesy is the best camouflage. Micro moves for asymmetric generosity. Give resources that scale without you. Templates, documents, videos, scripts. Attach a clear license. Free to use, not free to exploit you. Redirect follow-up asks to a public channel so behavior gets daylight. Daylight turns patterns into lessons without you raising your voice. Micro moves for spotlight steering. Name the behavior, not just the person. Tie it to outcome in one sentence. Limit the praise to what is measurable, so imitation is possible. Never use praise as a bribe. Use it as a map. Where light lands, culture follows. Micro moves for tempo dictatorship. Schedule deep work blocks and treat them as meetings with your mission. Respond with time windows instead of instant reactions. Split large asks into slices and ship the first slice on your terms. Teach people what your Friday means by making Friday deliveries predictable. Micro moves for silent exits. Keep a checklist for disengagement, obligations, assets, access, acknowledgements. Use single-topic emails with numbered steps. Archive receipts in one folder. Do not narrate your motives. Narration invites debate. Steps close loops. Loops closed stories roleplay condensed predator. We really need this. Now boss already asked you earliest quality delivery is Monday 10. I can ship a smaller slice today. Which do you prefer, predator? Wow, not a team player. You choose the scope. Silent stage actor. Everyone says your team is slow. You, which deliverable stage actor just saying you silence and eye contact? Parasite. Can you jump on a quick call? You text essentials. Parasite sends a meme. You returns to work weekly regimen. Monday, set frames for the 3 biggest arenas. Send briefs before noon. Tuesday, lower signal. No emotional broadcasts in text. All requests move to writing. Wednesday, run a decoy in 1 negotiation. Track outcome. Thursday, ship 1 asymmetric gift. Log who used it and how. Friday, public spotlight on 2 precise behaviors. Close the week with delivered work at your tempo. Sunday night, maintain exit architecture. Update templates, agreements, and handoff checklists. Signals map. When you remove applause, who keeps building? When you add structure, who gets faster and who gets louder? When you slow tempo, who improves quality and who escalates theatrics? When you praise a rival's discipline, who celebrates and who sulks? These reactions are truth. They sort the room into builders, passengers, and thieves without you drawing a sword. Mistakes to avoid. Do not confuse signal control with rudeness. Keep your sentences short and your tone civil. Do not abuse the decoy need. It is a shield, not a trap. Do not give gifts that require your endless maintenance. Otherwise, you created your own leash. Do not praise vaguely. It becomes empty currency and invites cynicism. Do not use tempo as an excuse. Your reliability must be visible. Do not turn exits into theater. The point is closure, not applause. Body language for the quiet prince. Still shoulders, measured breath. Eyes that move slowly before your mouth does. A posture that suggests you are reviewing a map, not reacting to a noise. Hands still until they point to the metric. Let silence draft the first sentence. Then speak half as much as you planned. Predators search for jitter. You give them granite. Diagnostics. If chaos keeps finding you, check your frames. If you keep arguing, check your signal. If predators keep guessing your moves, upgrade your decoys. If takers swarm, change your gifts to system assets instead of personal rescues. If drama dominates, aim the spotlight elsewhere. If you are exhausted, seize the clock. If rumors multiply, finish the exit. A final pattern that saves years. Move arguments from voice to artifacts. Voice is fog. Artifacts are anchors. Summaries, briefs, scopes, decisions, receipts. These are your armored cavalry. They turn opinions into objects, and objects can be measured. When measured, the loud becomes small, and the steady become obvious. Now, a closing catechism. When in doubt, shrink the arena to the measurable. When cornered, choose the channel that leaves evidence. When insulted, ask for the noun you can schedule. When flattered, redirect light to the work. When pressured, count to 10 and choose the move that protects next week, not just the next hour. When tempted to perform, produce. When tempted to punish, distance. When tempted to explain, point at the line that defines done. If you adopt these today, you will not wake up tomorrow a different person. You will wake up a person with different defaults. Defaults are destiny. Build new ones, and the world will respond. Not with instant applause, that is a cheap drug, but with a new pattern of respect, fewer tests, clearer asks, cleaner endings. A city is governed by its roads. A life is governed by its rules. Lay the roads now, then walk them without announcing your travel. Enemies will feel what they cannot describe. The ground is solid under your feet and soft under theirs. They will move elsewhere. You will move forward. One last reminder in Machiavelli's language of effect, not appearance. Do what secures the state of your work and the stability of your mind. Frames secure borders. Signals guard gates. Decoys mislead raiders. Generosity seeds loyalty. Spotlights grow standards. Tempo protects craft. Exits keep history tidy. Put them together, and you do not merely survive other people's games. You make them obsolete. That is how you outsmart enemies before they move. By becoming a field they cannot farm. Quiet power makes ambushes run out of.